When people asked about us, I said we were solid. I meant dependable, predictable, low drama. I didn't realize that wasn't the compliment I thought it was. Her name was Laura. She had a quiet way of listening, not the kind that waits to respond, the kind that absorbs. I mistook that for agreement. We'd been together long enough to stop questioning things. 3 years. Long enough for routines to harden into habits. I liked habits. They didn't ask anything of me. Laura moved into my place early, not because we rushed, because it made sense. Her lease ended. My apartment had space. Efficiency felt mature. She adjusted faster than I did. Learned my rhythms, my moods, which days I needed silence, which ones I needed reassurance but didn't know how to ask for it. I told myself I was easy to be with, low maintenance. What I didn't see was how much space that left her to fill. She handled the emotional weight, remembered birthdays, checked in on my family, bridged the gaps between my presence and my intention. I thanked her. I just didn't notice her. One evening, we were sitting on the couch, TV on, sound low. She muted it suddenly. "I have a question," she said. That tone. Careful. Prepared. "Do you feel like you choose me?" she asked. I laughed lightly. "Of course I do." She waited for more. I didn't give it. She nodded slowly, not satisfied, but finished. From then on, I noticed small shifts. She stopped asking for reassurance, stopped checking my mood before sharing hers. She became lighter and heavier at the same time. She went out more, not secretively, just without explanation. "I'll be back later," she'd say, and I'd nod, grateful for the space. I didn't realize that space was becoming permanent. One night, I came home and found her sitting at the kitchen table, lights off, phone face down, that stillness again. I recognized it now, too late. "I don't feel unsafe with you," she said. "I just don't feel chosen." That word again, chosen. I started listing reasons: commitment, stability, consistency. She listened politely. "You never had to fight for me," she said, "and I think that's the problem." I didn't understand. I still don't fully, but I felt the ground shift. She wasn't asking for chaos. She was asking for intention, for presence that wasn't automatic. "I don't need more," she said quietly. "I need different." That night, she slept beside me, but something fundamental had moved, like trust, but deeper. In the days that followed, I tried. But effort without understanding feels clumsy, like speaking a language you've only heard in passing. She noticed. She always did. But she didn't lean in. One afternoon, she said something that stayed with me. "I think you love how safe I make your life feel. I'm not sure you love me." I wanted to deny it. I almost did. But something stopped me. Because the truth was uncomfortable. She did make my life easier, calmer, more organized. But had I ever made her feel essential? That question followed me into the night and into the silence between us. The night she finally asked for space wasn't dramatic. She just said it plainly. "I need to step back. I don't recognize myself here anymore." I nodded, like someone who thought this was temporary, like someone who didn't yet understand what he was losing. I didn't know then that safety without choice feels like being she asked for space, not emptier, looser, like something essential had been removed and the air rushed in to replace it. Laura didn't leave right away. She moved into the spare room, brought only what she needed: a small bag, a notebook, her favorite sweater. The rest stayed untouched, like she was giving me time to notice what was missing. We were polite, careful. Two people sharing space without sharing themselves. I told myself this was temporary, that space meant reset, that she just needed room to breathe. I didn't ask what she needed to breathe from. She came and went quietly. No explanations, no updates. I realized how much of our relationship had depended on her narrating her emotional world to me. Without that narration, I was lost. One evening, I asked if she wanted dinner. She looked at me for a second longer than necessary. "Not tonight," she said. "I need to be alone." She didn't say it angrily. She said it like a boundary she'd practiced. That was the first time it occurred to me. She wasn't pulling away to be noticed. She was pulling away to survive. I started replaying moments, not the big ones, the ordinary ones, the times she shared something important and I responded with efficiency instead of curiosity, the times she made herself smaller so my comfort wouldn't be disturbed. I realized something uncomfortable. She had learned to feel safe around me by asking for less. A week later, she asked if we could talk. Those words used to scare me. Now, they felt inevitable. We sat across from each other at the kitchen table. Same place, different gravity. I don't want to fight, she said. I don't want to convince you of anything. She paused. I just want to be honest. I nodded. I didn't interrupt. For once, I listened without preparing a response. I felt calm with you, she continued, and I'm grateful for that. Then she looked at me directly. But calm isn't the same as connection, and safety isn't the same as being chosen. She explained slowly how she'd stopped expressing needs because they felt inconvenient, how she'd stopped expecting initiative because disappointment hurt more than silence, how she'd started asking herself whether she was being loved or merely accommodated. I don't want to be the person who makes your life easier, she said. I want to be the person you reach for. That sentence stayed with me. I tried to speak, to explain, to promise, but she raised her hand gently. Please don't, she said. I need to know you understand, not that you'll try. That was the moment something shifted. I finally saw myself clearly, not as careless, as passive. I had mistaken consistency for intention, presence for participation, comfort for closeness. I don't think you ever chose me, she said quietly. I think you just never chose against me. I felt that land, heavy, true. She moved out 2 days later. Not because we fought, because clarity doesn't need conflict. The apartment echoed for a while, not with loneliness, with questions. I started noticing patterns, how often I avoided emotional risk, how I waited for relationships to run themselves, how I valued peace more than presence. Months passed. I didn't rush into anything new. For the first time, I stayed with the discomfort. One afternoon, I ran into Laura at a grocery store. She looked lighter, not happier, more herself. We talked briefly, kindly. I hope you're doing well, I said. She smiled. I am, she replied. I learned to choose myself again. As she walked away, I didn't feel regret. I felt gratitude for the mirror she held up. I understand something now. Safety is important, but love needs movement, choice, intent. Being easy to be with isn't the same as being emotionally present, and peace without participation becomes distance. If I love again, and I hope I won't confuse being there with being engaged. Because I learned this the quiet way. Some people don't leave because they're unhappy. They leave because they've stopped feeling chosen.